Hi, my name is Gurpinder Kaur and I am here to demonstrate my assignment 1, which is a snake game in Python. So basically we already have the code, we just have to refactor the code and implement some of the other functionalities. So the function, let me show what I have implemented. So initially I have implemented like showing the score. So whenever the snake eats the food, it will increase the score of the snake. And if you want to pause the game, you can press P, and if you want to again continue, you can again press P. Now if the snake hit the walls, it will shows like game is over, hit, and if you want to restart, you need to press space. So there is one more functionality of the autopilot, which is started by pressing the key A. So now the autopilot mode is on. So let me show you how I followed the principle of solids. So let me show you my UML diagram. So this is what my UML diagram looks like. Before refactoring the code, the snake class is responsible for performing a lot of functionalities. Like it is responsible for increasing the size of the food and detecting the collision and also finding the path and increasing the size of itself and a lot of things. So basically, in order to follow the principle of a single responsibility, I divided it into subclasses. Like I divided into more classes like collision detector class and BFS finder class. So basically what I did is I made a different collision detector class which is dependent upon the snake class and the food class, and it is following the principle of encapsulation because we can only access the food and the snake class through the objects passed in the methods of the collision detector class. So here in here it is like if you want in future, if you want to add more obstacle, you just have to add a new method in here which will detect the collision with a new obstacle. And the other thing that I have implemented is drawing a BFS Pathfinder class. Now the BFS Pathfinder is the whole class that will find the shortest path between the snake and the food, and it will also automatically run the autopilot mode. And the other thing that I have done is refactoring my game class, because the game class is the one that should only responsible for running the game, like running the game, restarting the game, and quitting the game. So now what is that? Now my game class is in direct association with an event handler class, because it calls the event handler class. It calls the event handler class in here, methods of the event handler class. My event handler class, I have made all the methods to be static, so it is in direct association with them. So event handler class is handling all the events related to the keyboard, like moving up, moving down, left and right. And manage display class is responsible for interacting with the user, like showing the user that you need to press key, that your game is over. This is all manage display class is doing. So in future, if we want to display something else, if we want to add more functionality, we just have to add it into the event handler class. And if we want to display something, we need to hand it to the manage display class. So now the game is in relation with the snake and the food. It is in the composite relation, because if we delete the game, there is no meaning of having a snake and of having a food. And in the game class, we have the snake and we have the food method. So this is the way that I followed the principles of like single responsibility everywhere and encapsulating the data in the collision detector class, and following the open and the open principle, open for extension principle. Like you can extend the manage display class, you can even extend the event handler class. So let me now briefly show you what I have done in my code. So this is my BFS handle BFS of Pathfinder class, which will have the different methods for finding the path. And then I have the food class, which is only responsible for displaying the food, for checking getting the position of the food, and for changing the location of the food. And this is my game class, which is responsible for the for which is making the objects of the game, objects of the food, objects of the snake, running the game, and updating the game, restarting the game, quitting, drawing score, and displaying the events. So then I have an event handler class, which is handling all the events that are pressed on the keyboard. And then manage display class, which is managing what should be displayed on the screen and setting the default fonts, default colors for the text. And then I have my snake class. So basically now my snake class does, it has the methods which is only related to the snake. So like follow the path. So what does follow path does? It calls the BFS pathfinder find path method. And then we have the update direction, which is only related to snake. Like if we want to update the head of the snake, if we want to check collision, then I'm calling the collision detector methods here. So this is the way that I refactored my code in order to follow the principle of solids and in order to follow the encapsulation, dependencies, and compositions. Thank you.